We talk so much about massive and intense weather disasters, but extreme heat can silently claim more lives than most other severe weather events combined. And the eastern half of the country is being gripped by a massive and dangerous heat wave. We break down for you now the parameters at play here, because quite a few things had to come together to give us a heat dome, and the humidity of this magnitude, size, position, duration, they all matter when we're talking about this kind of heat event. But first, what is a heat dome and why is it dangerous?
So essentially, it's a strong ridge of high pressure, and what it does is it traps the ocean temperatures, which are quite warm, and with this ridge of high pressure, it moves in a clockwise direction, which compresses the heat at the surface, and it traps it in there for quite a long time.
So this alone will rise temperatures by anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above average, but then couple that with the positioning of a heat dome, and that creates the added issue of humidity, correct?
Yeah, so you know it's going to be positioned in the northeast portion of the United States, and because of that, it's also bringing up Gulf moisture and a very strong southerly flow. As I mentioned, it's moving in a clockwise direction, which is allowing those winds to move in, and it's a very strong and hot, humid air mass.
Now, this is unbearable when you're talking about experiencing a core temperature of, say, 35 degrees. Couple that with the way our body will feel, the inability to be able to cool ourselves, the inability to be able to have sweat evaporate when we're talking about a high moisture content in the atmosphere. Picture being in 35-degree weather and then being wrapped in plastic wrap. That's akin to how it would feel with humidity for multiple days at that 40 to 45 feeling. This is not just elderly folks who can live with medical issues who are susceptible to heat-related illness, but unbearable for anybody that doesn't have an air conditioning, because we can't recalibrate and cool our bodies into overnight periods with sticky overnight lows that are usually where our daytime high should be. But this humidity, Melinda, can also fuel more active weather, correct?
Yes, because of that heat, that's what helps to build thunderstorms. It creates instability, warm air rises, and that's why we see that cloud formation. Now, just with this heat alone, Saphia, we could be looking at pop-up daytime thunderstorms across eastern Canada. Also looking at a few lake breezes along the lake shores there as well by Wednesday. So that means we could be looking at some triggers for an additional thunderstorms this week.
Okay, that brings us to another point. Thunderstorms may actually cool down localized areas a little bit. They will also provide torrential rain and potential of flooding because of this high moisture content in the atmosphere. But if you are able to get down to a lake shore and you do have a lake breeze, if it's not stagnant wind, this could be a cool zone for you.
Absolutely right. Areas inland will be seeing more of the heat, but once you get away from it and head towards the immediate lakeshore, it's definitely a little bit of relief. Will definitely go a long way.
Okay, we've had stretches like this in the past where there have been hot and humid stretches that have lasted for a longer amount of days, but not really a stretch where we've had intense heat and intense humidity for such a long stretch. That's why this one is really going to be a double whammy. Let's talk a little bit about some of the symptoms you might need to watch out for heat stroke and heat exhaustion.
Yeah, definitely confusion and the potential of not sweating, and you may lose consciousness with heat stroke, but with heat exhaustion, you got the dizziness, heavy sweating, and weakness. So it's very important to be hydrated at all times and cooled as well within this heat wave.
Anyone can succumb to excessive warmth, even folks who are physically fit or acclimated to hot and humid weather. You want to make sure that you look for red flags of heat exhaustion if your body is struggling, and know when it's time to cool off. Keep the house ventilated. Look for loss of consciousness, and of course check on anybody most vulnerable, those on the streets, pregnant women, pets, and young children. And stay with us as we continue this coverage of this massive heat event.